Good morning, everyone. Thank God it is Saturday morning. Nothing like starting off the weekend with no real plans of what to do. I absolutely love that type of setup. But I did conduct a poll the other day about 3 units that I wanted to showcase and just kind of wanted to get everybody's feedback. And it seems like most people, at least on the Twitter side, wanted to see the 100% showcase max level links for this unit versus the 2 others I threw out there, which was the STR Super Saiyan 2 Trunks. I went ahead and got him at 100% potential with max level links, even though he technically hasn't Dokkan Awakened yet. The other option was the AGL Super Saiyan 3 Bardock, so I did go through 100% and also the max level links. So I will upload those guys at some point, but I did want to throw in this guy first. So let's just break down the overall stats of this unit, and before I do so, let me know if I should just start off these showcases with the very first clip to show off like the best rotation with the highest output, for the run that I kind of tested through for the showcase compilation. So if you feel like you'd rather see that up front, just let me know and I can adjust accordingly. Okay, let's talk about the unit. So this is the 100% potential of the Extreme AGL Wrathful Broly, and this guy's a pretty good powerhouse once fully built up. So let's just talk about the overall stats. So leader skill is going to be the Pure Saiyans category key plus 3 HP attack and defense increase of 120%, or Extreme AGL types key plus 3 HP attack and defense increase of 100%. This guy will raise attack and defense for 3 turns with a super attack and cause supreme damage to enemies. So, I mean, from a potential build standpoint, you might be better off going with the level 14 additional and level 12 crits. I mean, it's certainly not a bad idea. I think for mine, he might have been 11-15 distribution. I can't remember 100%, but either way, both formats, not necessarily a bad idea. Now, in terms of the passive skill, it's a key plus 1. At the start of every turn, attack and defense increases 70%, plus an additional defense plus 20% with each attack performed up to a max of 80%, plus an additional attack increase of 20% with each attack received up to 80%. So like I was saying earlier, this guy once built up, with all the attacks performed and attacks received, this guy can get his attack stats quite up there, in the 4 million plus region. Now in terms of links, because it is, going to make a difference from going to level 1 to level 10, Saiyan Warrior Race at level 10 is attack increase of 10%, Saiyan Lineage is key plus 2, attack and defense increase of 5%, Prodigies is attack increase of 15%, Berserker is attack increase of 30% when HP is 50% or less, Shocking Speed is key plus 2, defense increase of 5%, Prepare for Battle is key plus 2, and attack and defense increase of 5%, and lastly, Fierce Battle will be attack increase of 20%. In terms of categories, this guy does fall into a decent amount of categories: movie bosses, pure Saiyans, exploding rage, rapid growth, giant ape power, prodigious warriors, and then at 100% potential, for stats wise, HP is 15,763, attack is 16,668, and defense is 11,006. 12 key multipliers, 140%. Now in terms of like the format for the showcase itself, I literally went through 5 or 6 like event runs recording just the rotations and whatnot. I kind of try to get a mix of the movie boss setups, the pure Saiyans, and whatnot. So I don't necessarily remember like what all the footage I included on here, but it brings a point that I really wish the Paragus and Broly unit from the Dragon Ball Super movie, Dragon Ball Super Broly movie was actually on the movie boss category, because a lot of the Broly units do benefit from having that unit on the rotation because of, not just from a link stat standpoint, but also the support from the passive that Paragus and Broly do provide. It's a pretty substantial increase. I think it's like 40% increase to attack for the Pure Saiyans category units, so it does make quite a bit of a difference. In addition to that, they share a lot of links with some of the Broly units, so it's certainly advantageous to have that unit on rotation. But unfortunately, they're not on movie bosses, so you're kind of forced into a Pure Saiyans category setup in that regard. I did throw in other units like Tech LR Broly and the STR LR Broly as well with the EZA. I just kind of wanted to throw in different rotational builds, so that way you guys can see kind of a difference in terms of like how the AGL Wrathful Broly would link up with some of the other units, just to give you some viable options in a way, right? And you know, at the end of the day, this is a dedicated 100% showcase, so it is going to be more so focused on optimal situations, not necessarily, you know, a realistic setup, but I try to keep a blend of both, right? Just kind of keep it realistic enough, but you know, for units that desperately need the assistance of like supporting floaters and stuff like that, like the STR Super Saiyan 2 Trunks that I went ahead and recorded all the footage for it. That guy needed all the support he can get to look decent, right? So that's kind of the difference in mentalities here. But I think from Broly's perspective, the best Link buddy from what I noticed was the Dragon Ball Super Saiyan Broly, the physical type AoE unit. They do share a massive amount of links, but to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of that Broly. I just, you know, it's I guess really it comes down to the fact that it's, you know, time consuming from a super attack standpoint, and the amount of time it takes for the super attack, it doesn't really justify the amount of damage that it necessarily applies to enemies. So I mean, in that regard, I guess I'm not like the biggest fan of that unit, but you know, who knows, with the potential EZA down the road, it could change quite a bit. I will say, in terms of like Extreme Z Awakenings that I am most excited about down the road would definitely be the Dokkan Fest Turles. I mean, like, I still run that unit all the time as a floater or a Link buddy, you know, when it comes to showcases and stuff like that. If that guy can get some like improvements toward defense and stuff like that, yeah, it would be a phenomenal unit to have on a team. So I'm looking very forward to that. But Wrathful Broly, though, he's definitely he's certainly a monster. I mean, it fully built up. You know, you do have to build up the defense, you know, with the 80% and also the attack up to 80%, but you know, you just have to get either hit a couple times or perform an attack a couple times, and you could easily build that up. So like I said, I think the highest attack stats that I've seen so far with the testing with this guy was probably in the region of like 4 million plus. I can't remember the exact attack stats, but I mean, for this guy to be able to hit like that, it's pretty consistent. And I think the additional thing about that is his defense is actually pretty good too. Once fully built up, and again, depending on how you go about the potential build, you know, having the ability with the super attack to raise attack and defense for 3 turns along with causing supreme damage, you know, that's certainly something that could be very, very beneficial. And yeah, certainly not a bad unit. I've been wanting to test this guy for a long time, but just, you know, time constraints or what have you has not allowed me to do that up until this point. So I'm pretty happy with the overall result with the unit. I think it's certainly worth the link level grinds for this unit, especially if you're a little bit light on some of the categories that some of the Broly units fall under. So, you know, with that being said, you know, I try to be as transparent as possible in terms of, you know, my recommendations as to whether you should do it or not. I'm pretty clear about, you know, the troll units that I end up going through the 100% potential and also the level links. You know, I try to tell you guys, you know, I don't recommend this. This is just for, you know, shits and giggles. It's not certainly something that's going to benefit you in terms of like an overall deck improvement. But in this guy's case, I think it's certainly worth it. And you know, if you're bored, have nothing to do, or you're a little bit light in your deck and you want to build on, you know, the current setup you got, this guy's certainly not a bad idea. And yeah, I mean, I haven't really tested this guy on a more difficult standpoint, like you know, Super Battle Road and stuff like that. But I would imagine this guy performs decently well. You know, he might not look as good as he does in some of these like Infinite Dragon Ball History showcases, but that's okay. You know, Super Battle Road really is meant for just the point of it really is just to clear, right? I mean, if you want to go, you know, one up on top of that and try and do a no items or no damage or whatever the case is, you know, you can certainly do that. But my overall view of, you know, extremely difficult events is more or less just to be able to clear it, and you know, maybe faster times are better than not, but at the end of the day, you know, it's really the goal of that. So as long as, you know, units are able to be a viable option to clear the events, you know, that's really the purpose that it serves, and you know, we'll leave it at that. But I think, I don't know, like I said, I do have footage already recorded for the AGL Super Saiyan 3 Bardock and also the STR Super Saiyan 2 Trunks, so, you know, certainly let me know in the comments which one you want to see next, and I will definitely be more than happy to fulfill the obligation for that. So we'll go ahead and close out here. Hopefully you guys were satisfied with the Wrathful Broly showcase at 100%.